Hello and welcome to Burnin' Hearts, the podcast all about the life mysteries and management of acid reflux. I'm Spencer Crittenden, your hostess with the mostest, who had to stop eating Hostess because it was bad for his acid reflux. And I'm joined by Kevin, Stomach. Jesus Christ, Kevin, what's happening, man?
Not much, man. Not much. It's been a good week for me. Got a lot of stuff done. Sort of following up from last week's show with Jim Mahfood on this week's show of his, we're making some official Kevin Day Blastmaster t-shirts that are going to be available in his TeePublic store in a week or two.
I gotta get one of those. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Man,
I've always wanted to be a t-shirt.
Really? Is that true, or is that a fun quip that your comedic instincts bubbled up?
No, a bit of both, actually.
Okay.
It seems like a milestone.
A milestone in what?
Life,
in becoming a known figure. Oh, in life, like every person. Okay.
It's just sort of that notch of like, okay, I finally made it. I'm on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a Patreon. The Patreon has a Discord. The Discord has channels. One of the channels is a merchandising channel to give ideas for merchandise if I ever do merchandise. So I thought, maybe since we're on the subject, maybe we can talk about, not all of these are Patreon exclusive. They're more like Spencer brand that might fit or might not fit with the That Happens. So yeah, let's see. Someone, Bender, his name's Bender. I guess he's the real Bender from Futurama, but Bender suggests a full-size Spencer plushie. That could be fun.
Yeah, I'd buy one.
Right? And someone else, Get Maimed, said a Spencer waifu pillow. You know about these waifu pillows?
I do, yes. I can see you selling a lot of those.
Doesn't that sound good? Like, I would definitely do that to me because I'm a weird narcissist. So, like, I could imagine totally sleeping with a Spencer body pillow. JC Gio says that we should do dice. That Happens dice. But on the 20, it just says That Happens instead. That sounds good, right? Don't you think we can get some of this stuff? Like this
we
seems
can do this.
This seems kind of doable. I don't know. We might have to talk to like a dice person or something. But I've talked about briefly. I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but I'm the Fungin Master. Are you aware of this?
I was not. No.
Oh yeah, and I'm turning down my mic because I'm blowing it out for sure. Hopefully this isn't too quiet. But yeah, I'm the Fungin Master. It's because I'm so fun, you see.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. I have self-designated myself the Fungin Master. And what could be more fun than giving yourself a nickname, and natural as well. But okay, so there's a comic called the Swords Comic. It's on Instagram. I think their Instagram handle is Swords Comic, @Swords Comic or whatever. And they have a recurring bit. They have a lot of recurring bits because it's like a 4-panel comic strip. And one of their recurring bits is this clown with green hair is standing outside of a dungeon labeled Fungin and is like propositioning adventurers like, hey, you want to have some fun for a change? Come into the Fungin, and then the adventurer does. And then they're immediately beset by carnivorous mushrooms that are like chomping them to pieces. And they're like, oh, it's because of Fungin. It's called a Fungin because of the fungus. So this is kind of like the punchline, but that's different than how I'm using it, which is I am the Fungin Master in Dungeons and Dragons, and no other Dungeon Master is fun because I have cornered the market with this cleverly, self-given nickname. I'm the Fungin Master. So like Fungin Master t-shirts, I don't know.
I honestly would, if there was a life-size cardboard cutout of you, I would put that in my office.
Okay, life-size cardboard cutouts. That would be, my dad at work, I don't know how he got this or what the circumstances were, but he got a cardboard standee of himself in like a It was like a tuxedo. Like, it wasn't just a suit. It was a really nice suit. And I don't know if his hand's doing like one of these things, but there's a speech bubble coming out of it that has some sort of marketing text, because this was some sort of marketing thing. I don't know. I don't know if it was a joke, if it was real, if it was a gift, if he made it. I have no idea. I just know that it landed somehow in our house at some point. And so it would just be like a fixture around the house was my dad reduced to like 4 feet and having a speech bubble that said something. But you know, we could do that. I could definitely see it, like, you know, I say like that happens in the speech bubble, or I'm like, you know, throwing dice, and then we could put a hole in the hand and you can like rig it up to a dice tower, and I like roll the dice onto your table.
It would be like you were right there with us playing.
It would be like I'm dungeon mastering for you. That could be a whole kit, like the Spencer Dungeon Mastery kit. Like, oh, have Spencer Dungeon Master you, only $75, and it's like a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. Someone suggested cups. They look really cool, but they don't really seem super thematic. They're just kind of cups. Yeah. Is there anything else here? What if I just read Discord onto a podcast? Would that be good? Do you have any good slogans that we could, you know, like Cafe Press or whatever? It's just like you have an image or a slogan, and it's like we'll print that on a mug, we'll print it on a face mask, you know, we'll print it on your AR-15. I don't know. Nothing.
I could see there being a lot of that happens merchandise.
Yeah, we should maybe pilot some. I don't know. Ugh. Other podcasts, they do this thing where it's like, oh, if you draw the art, we'll give you some of the proceeds and stuff. We could do something like that. I just don't know how those people set it up legally, etc., or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, and maybe in a way that exploits people more. That could be good for me if we exploit people more than fairly compensating them for their effort and labor. I don't know, man. The world's bad. The world's bad.
So what's happened to you this week?
So I'm a person that breaks down easily. I hold problems with me. They stick with me for a long time. The Arby's incident, right? You know, it's something that followed me for weeks until I started really not thinking about it. It's still a thing that happens. And when I get in online arguments with people, that can also happen. There's a chapter in my life that I dramatically refer to as the Doughboys beef, where I got into a fight with a guy named Jack Allison. And, just like that was like, it fucked me up for a month, like longer than a month, honestly. But it's just like, I would just think about it nonstop, and it just sucked. And this week I've had probably 4 separate incidents like that, which is a lot more than normal. I've had dust ups with people. It's just, the thing is, man, the slightest criticism really sends me off, and it's not good. It's a toxic trait. But at the same time, like, if I was a healthier person, it would still bug me. I would just be able to respond to it more assertively or healthily without having a breakdown, because like when your adrenaline is pumping and, you're yelling at people, or not even you're yelling at people, when your adrenaline's pumping and you're trying to solve a problem, you're not in the best state of mind to solve that problem, So it's like, as much as I can try and rationalize and engage my rational brain, it just, it's going to be routed through this nervous breakdown person,
Yeah. When you say you're having a breakdown, what's going through your mind at that point?
When I say I'm having a breakdown, I just mean I'm obsessing over something. I can't get it out of my mind. I'm running it through over and over and over, being really mad. I'm thinking over and over about the things I said or should have said or will say in the future. Like for instance, if I'm most of this stuff happens via text, and so if I'm texting, but again, 4 separate incidents is way more than usually I have one of these every couple weeks, every month or so, that rise to this level of like sticking with me, but it's thinking of these things, and it's like I go over the things I said over and over. That's something, I don't know, maybe this is a writer thing or something, but whenever I write anything, I just reread it over and over and over, or I think about what I had read or written, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of obsessive compulsive or something, but it just like, it goes around in a loop and a loop and a loop. And I just keep thinking that. And thinking about maybe I should have said it differently, or thinking that was a really good way to say it. I'm glad I expressed myself that way, but I'm just focusing on it. I'm like hyper fixated on it. That's kind of what I mean by a breakdown. Sometimes it means I can't really think about other things or be even distracted, or I try to distract myself and I'm still dwelling on it. Or other times it means I'm crying. But not always. When I say breakdown, I mean like just kind of being hyper fixated and obsessed with this thing, and I just can't get it out. And it just ruins my day. It sucks. It's not good. It's probably not how other people respond to the same kind of issues, right? It's a weakness of myself. It just really sucks. Like, I don't know. Here's an example. Me and Steve, we both work for Dan. He would text us, sometimes not very nice, sometimes very mean texts. And Steve would be able to compartmentalize it, and I would not. Like, I would just be fucked up for 3 days. So if like something happens on Friday, I get a mean text on Friday, like my whole weekend is just shot. It's all I can think about it. Maybe on Sunday I might have some distance from it and be able to like think about other things or whatever, or maybe I can distract myself with a video game. I don't know. But Steve would just go on his normal life. It's not like he didn't feel bad or whatever. He was just able to handle it, or it didn't affect him as much. I don't know. It's not like it was good to treat him like that and bad to treat me like that. It's not ideal in either sense, but it's just, I can't let it go, maybe is what it is. I have a hard time letting go. And it sucks. And yeah, it's not on anyone else that I'm like this. And it's reasonable that other people don't assume that I'm like this when they interact with me. And so when I have a breakdown to what someone perceives as a normal thing, I understand that. That's not necessarily on them, but that's also why I try to talk about stuff like this, because, I feel like I don't know how to set proper expectations. If I said something to someone and they just burst into tears, I would be like, oh, fuck, but if that person is like, hey, I always burst into tears, or something, it might kind of change my behavior in hopes of not spurring that. So that's kind of like what I hope to do. But I don't know. I just always think I'm really clear when I'm not being clear at all. That's a problem I have. I'm making these videos for my Patreon, and sometimes I'll be all like, yeah, that made sense. And I'll listen back to it and it's like, it doesn't really make sense. I didn't even say the words that I thought I said. Like, it doesn't track. So who even knows how clear I'm being, But I don't know. For instance, a couple weeks ago, it was after the Mora episode, someone on Reddit was like, oh, Spencer's talking too fast. And that really hurt my feelings. And I handled that really poorly. And I feel bad about it. I lashed out at him, and part of it is this expectations. A lot of problems come from misset expectations. A lot of problems come from miscommunications. But like something that hits me a lot, and I think this probably goes back to my childhood somehow with my parents or something, I don't know, but I would be really excited about something, and then I would talk to people about it or share something about what I was excited about with other people, and then they would have a reaction to it that's like so far removed from what I expect, it really hits me a lot harder, is probably part of it. So like that Mora episode was so good. Like I was just so proud of how it turns out. I mean, we've been doing a lot of episodes, Kevin, that I thought have been really good, and it's really fun for me. And so then it's like, and also this is a problem I've had since Harmontown. Like I would say something funny on Harmontown, and then I'd go to Reddit and be like, I wonder if anyone said how funny I was. Never fucking happened. Not a single fucking time. It's not like I never got praise, but anytime I was like, oh man, that was great, like it just wouldn't get anything. And so yeah, that was kind of it. And so another thing is like, if you can't handle it, maybe stop doing that. It becomes toxic at that point. It becomes, you're bringing this upon yourself. But I was really excited about the episode, so I go to the Reddit and I was like, I wonder if other people thought it was such a great episode. And that was like the first thing I zoomed in on, is this guy who suggested that I might have been on Adderall, which he said was a joke, but I didn't think it was a joke. I thought it was like, oh, he's Dan's assistant. Maybe he does Adderall too, which I took really personally, because like, I don't know. I don't like drugs. I don't mind if other people do them, but I think they're bad. Even when I've done drugs, I've not thought they were great. And especially after quitting pot, that's something I feel pretty accomplished about. I'm really proud that I'm not on drugs anymore. I'm proud that I can do it differently. Also, not being on weed all the time is going to change my vibe. You know, if my entire professional, personal performer life, for instance, I was stoned out of my fucking gourd, right? And then I stop doing weed and then perform again, it's going to be a different vibe, right? So the fact that like I was being apparently jokingly, but in my mind, seriously, accused of being on this drug, and that's why I was acting different. And me being really excited about the episode, and you know, him being like, "Oh, he's talking too fast," but it's like I was talking too fast because I was so excited about the things I was talking about, and I was really happy that the episode was going great, and Maura was really cool, and I was happy about that, you know. And so I was like really happy and excited, and then I go to the Reddit, and then someone gives me, you know, what, let's just say it's a reasonable critique. I don't know, you know, we don't have to demonize it, but and then I'm like, fuck, and it hits me so hard, you know, and then in that episode, I talked about how I'm sensitive and how things that people say online absolutely destroy me. So it's like, again, I don't know how clear I'm being with communication. Obviously, I'm bouncing all over the place with this conversation. But when you think you're communicating, oh, hey, you know, it really hurts me when people say innocuous things online. And then after that episode, you go to the discussion of that episode and someone says that, it's like, but I mean, I said, like, can't you at least phrase it gentler or something? You know, it feels more specifically like twisting the knife, which is another expectation that I'm setting up that's not on other people. But because I've set that expectation in my mind, when people break that expectation, it hurts even more, right? I say set expectations because that goes back to working at Apple Store. They would always talk about setting expectations. And again, it goes back to dissatisfaction comes from misset expectations. If you expect to eat a great feast and instead you get in a car accident, you're going to be really bummed. You know, oh my God, my whole night's ruined. If you're expecting, you know, you're not going to have any food today, and then you don't have any food today, that's not as bad because it's like, yeah, no, this was what I was expecting to happen. It's not like it's a good situation, but it's not this huge fucking blow to your life because it's within your expectations, right? And so at Apple Store, it was all about setting expectations and resetting expectations if it was clear that people came in with the wrong expectations. You know, oh, I jizzed in my keyboard, you got to clean the keyboard. You know, it's like, oh, sir, we don't clean jizz out of keyboards. You know, that's resetting the expectations and hoping you can move forward on this shared basis where expectations are where they should be, you know. But so, yeah. So one of the times when I got mad this week was a similar thing where I was sharing something I was really excited about, and then someone's innocuous criticism just absolutely destroyed me. And I don't know that, you know, I think I had somewhat of a right to be upset, but I also know that I took it too far and I was not in a good place to like adjudicate the situation maturely from that point. Like I would have, in a perfect world, it would have bounced off me and I could have a sober talk with the person about why it's maybe not appropriate to frame things like that. Maybe if you have the critique, there's a better way to share it that won't make people feel as bad. But since I'm the, you know, the perceived victim in the case, it's like I'm not in the mental space to be able to adjudicate that. And I wasn't, you know, I think maybe today I'm probably in a better space for stuff like that. But at the time I was definitely not, and, you know, and it blew up. And another thing is these pieces of shit in the Straub Home Video Discord, these fucking pieces of shit, I insult them every day of my life. I'm only on the air once a week, but every day of my life, I'm just talking. If I stub my toe, I'm like, these fucks. But no, so I talk a lot of shit about the Straub Home Video Discord, and someone from the Straub Home Video Discord messaged me to engage me about that, and I also got really defensive, and I wasn't like disagreeing with what he said, but I was trying to explain my side of it because it was clear to me that he didn't understand where I was coming from, which is fine. He doesn't have to understand, but I was trying to explain it, and then he was like, in my mind, denying what I was saying, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? You just come to tell me like to care about these people's feelings, and then you don't care about my feelings in the situation, whatever. But you know, I think we came to a mini understanding of sorts, which was, you know, I would lay off the Straub Home Video Discord, which I'm not going to, you stupid pieces of shit. But what I will do is add the context that when I was at the Straub Home Video Discord, there was a lot of people behaving very strangely to me. And there was a lot of people that would insult me or do things that me and my super hyper insecure, you know, way too sensitive manner was interpreting really negatively and hurtfully. And because of that, I left the Discord. And I was like, I felt like I was bullied out of the Discord. I don't know if that's an accurate accurate portrayal of the events, but things happen and I felt like I wanted to leave to make myself feel better. And so when I talk about the Discord, I'm talking about those people and those behaviors. And I am punching down. I think punching down makes it a bit worse, but it's very precedented in society for people to say like, oh, all these white men are so bad. And I'm like, I'm a white man, but I'm not like, oh, they're talking about me, I'm under attack. I'm like, no, they're referring to individuals in a group that is fucked up. And I know that I'm not at fault, but my defense is raised anyway. But if I take that insult personally, that's kind of on me. And so these fucking idiots on the Strabo Video Discord, this is the thing. I'm not talking about you. If you're like, why is Spencer so mad? I'm probably not referring to you at all. And that doesn't make it okay. I'm still casting a wide net and insulting a lot of people. But I think there was a moment where there was a person who had joined the Discord that day. And then I was like, you stupid fucks in the Discord. And then that person was like, why is he mad at me? And it's like, come on. Use some context. You think I'm talking about you, the person that walked in the room? If I'm yelling at a tavern and you enter the tavern and I'm like, oh, you idiots at the tavern, you think I'm referring to you, the person that walked in mid-rant? Are you kidding me? That's so stupid in a completely different way. I will insult you for a completely different thing, and that's thinking I'm lumping you into the group I'm insulting. That's stupid and self-absorbed. But, probably that's bad too. And probably the guy that TM'd me is probably going to do it again. But yeah, so if I'm shitting on the Shop Home Discord, it's not you I'm talking about. And if you have wronged me, maybe think about that. But either way, it's fine. I think it's more a question of me being sensitive. But that's why I left. That's why I left the Discord, is because I couldn't handle it. You can't handle the heat. Get out of the kitchen. And that's what I'm going to be saying on Twitter to everybody when I start just being racist after Elon Musk, buys the thing. I'm just going to threaten to kill everybody. And if they can't handle it, that's on them. I can't be held accountable for my actions and words. It's on them to get out of that place, right?
Spoken very well. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And you've been nodding the whole time. I'm sure you clearly agree with every word and sentiment that I've conveyed. But yeah, I am sorry. I don't mean to make the wrong people feel bad. I'm intending to make the right people feel bad. But the thing about bad people that deserve to feel bad is they aren't going to feel bad, because they're the kind of people that would say, oh, I'm sure this isn't about me, because that instinct is part of what makes them bad people. So it's kind of a self-defeating premise in the first place to say like, oh, shaming these people and knowing they're on some level perhaps incapable of the self-awareness or shame necessary for those words to mean anything. And it'll instead splash over on the people that are sensitive, more like me, which those people should probably be protected from people like me who just go shitting on everything. Those are good people. Those I don't have a problem with them. And maybe those people are uncomfortable by the stuff I was identifying too, but they just put up with it better. I don't know. That's the other thing, is it's like, am I off base, or am I just more sensitive to something that's not good and I'm just having a much more toxic reaction to it? Like, is it a reasonable thing to get mad about, or is it not a reasonable thing to get mad at? But, who knows? Only my therapist, if I get one. I gotta have to get a therapist, Kevin. What's up? I've been talking, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had a question for you then. So, a lot of people who choose careers, roles like you are, like, host of a podcast or, things like that, or creator of a TV show, they do it for one level or another, for the attention or for the fan interactions, or they want to feel like a celebrity or things like that. You seem to recoil from that more often than you seem to be enjoying it. So what's your motivation? Why are you doing this show here? Why did you do Harmon Quest? Why did you do any of these things?
Well, it's all momentum, right? It just kind of came in and was its own thing. And it's like, follow the energy. It still seems like there might be, a career in it. It would be good to be able to get off of this stuff. But in my travels, I've come to understand that I think the way most people deal with it is to just disengage. Dan quit Twitter. Like famous people often hit a point and then they stop looking, or they're healthy enough to not look in the first place. I don't think it's that those people are just really good at handling all the criticism. I think probably a lot of people are way better than me at handling the criticism. But I think it really is this constant erosion by a crush of thousands of people just slowly wears on you, you know, and it kind of, unless you can do something about it, like I think it fucks you up. I don't know. I feel like I kind of experienced that firsthand, going through Harmontown and stuff, and just trying, like, I feel like I understand crazy famous people a lot more than I used to, just because it's like, you'd have to be insane not to go crazy from all this stuff. Like, it's an incredible, crazy thing that we're doing to someone. It's crazy to have millions of people being able to scream at you all at once, but that's what Twitter is, right? It's just, it is kind of this weird stuff that we aren't necessarily well equipped to deal with. And certainly I'm not. But I want to say that, like, ever since I was a kid, I never really wanted to be famous. I really liked comedy. I thought it could be funny to be a comedian, but I knew that I didn't have the guts to do, you know, to go to open mics and stuff. I've never really tried to prepare material. I am terrified of failure. So the idea of trying to do something that you know you're going to fail at, which, you know, if you're starting stand up, you know you're going to fail at it. You're not going to be that funny. Like, that's just, it's part of getting it in, is getting your reps and stuff, you know? And so it's like, but I've never wanted to be famous. And I always, as a kid, I always thought it was stupid. Like, my friends were like, I want to be like a rock star. I want to be an actor, celebrity, where they were like, they wanted the fame. And I was like, that's dumb. Like, why do you want that? What is valuable about that? It's not, I can't see the value to it. And I think that's accurate. I think that's the right way to think about this stuff, is fame isn't a good thing. I don't know. It is a gateway to a lot of things, but it's like a necessary evil, right? I don't know. I read this Ben Affleck interview, and he kind of said all the same stuff that I was thinking. It's like, fame is a means to an end, or a consequence of a thing that you're doing. You know, if you're an actor, you want to act, you want to get in good projects and show your craft and improve your craft. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean you want a million people thinking you're hot or something. You know, it's a different thing. But if you become a successful actor, marketing, branding, publicity become a big part of that, but they're not what it is. You know, I think these days a lot of people are more driven specifically by fame, and especially with social media, it becomes this kind of lottery thing where you can hope to get out of the doldrums of life by hitting it big on some viral thing, right? But I don't think that's necessarily always everyone's motivation in getting into, like, performing stuff. It wasn't for me. And also for me, it's just like, for too long, I just didn't think of myself as a performer, as a famous person, as a notable person. And, you know, I've had to adjust that thinking, because it's like, yeah, I am. I have more of clout and more like stuff going on than I used to think. I used to just think I was like just a guy, and it's like, no, even if you think that, that's not how other people see you. So if you come down on them, they're not seeing a guy come down on them. They're seeing that guy, you know, Spencer, coming down on them. It's a completely different thing, but it's not something I think about. And because, you know, I have this weird view of fame. I mean, just, this is probably cynical and maybe not something I should admit, but I mean, the only reason I think I'm still doing this is because I think it could still pay off somehow. And maybe that's completely flawed, but right now it's like I've invested, right? It's an investment of time, money, expertise that I've learned to become a performer, to work in Hollywood, to understand Hollywood stuff. And so I can, you know, cash all that out for basically nothing and get, like, I've made a lot of money, but like what I have now, I don't have like current investments. I have this skill and this notoriety that I've developed, right? And I could just say, okay, tossing that in the trash, going to become a farmer, and then I'll have to buy all the farm equipment. You know, I'll have to start from zero at whatever that is. That's something I expect to have to do at some point, and maybe it's good to think about that more than I have been. But at this point, it's like, well, it seems to be a waste of what I've done so far to just cast that aside and be like, no, I'm going to write instruction manuals for refrigerators or something. So I'm going to, you know, get really good at technical writing, and I'm going to go to a night school, and then I'm going to apply to like doing that job. You know, like that's something I could do. It might be a real career that pays a lot more than a lot of the not show renting jobs I've had, you know? But that requires like the abandonment of this kind of stock, these poker chips that I've amassed in this kind of Hollywood closet. So my metaphors are great. Go ahead.
They are. So what does paying off look like to you? Like what would be the ultimate ending for your career path right now?
I don't need an ultimate ending game, but I would be fine getting another TV job. Like we pitched something that's probably not going anywhere. Otherwise, we would have heard back by now or about it by now. But there was a pitch that could have gone into the development deal. A development deal would have given me money, and if we got to make that show, it would have been a lot more money. And so it's like that could keep me going for another 2 or 3 years to try and at least give me more runway to figure out what's next. I think the Patreon's the closest thing I've had to like not just coasting off of the momentum I got from kind of writing Dan's coattails. It's like, okay, let's actually do my own thing. The podcast is kind of like that too, but I think it's closer to just going off of Jeff's energy trying to start the podcast, right? But the Patreon is like, I feel like maybe I can try and spin that into getting more play in the D&D community, because I'm really outside of the D&D community, and I don't blame anyone. I think that's almost certainly all my fault, but the D&D community has really grown and become this vibrant space. And, I've only been involved with Harmontown and HarmonQuest, which is just its own thing. It doesn't even intersect with the larger D&D community because it's on this weird TV show track, right? If it were a YouTube show and it were always a YouTube show, you would expect that, we would want to cross promote. We'd want to get other people on the show, and I'd go on their show, and, there'd be this give and take, and I'd be more part of the D&D community. But as a result of my actions and the trajectory of HarmonQuest and stuff, I've closed off a lot of that. Like Wizards has asked me to do stuff, but it just didn't feel like it was in my ballpark. And so, I was like, nah. And, if you tell people no, they're not going to come back. So it's like I really shot myself in the foot a lot of times. And again, I'm not blaming anyone, but that's part of why I am kind of more outside and disconnected. But I'd like to at least see where that goes, see if I can do something. It would be cool to try and leverage that into working for Wizards. I think they're trying to cast a wider net with employees and get people more just on kind of contracting jobs where, I don't know. But so part of my Patreon is trying to build up like a working resume. It's like a portfolio of D&D stuff that I've come up with. And isn't this impressive? Because it's, again, given my stature in the world or whatever, the fact that Wizards has approached me at all, I'm a semi-known quantity. If I could back that up with a good portfolio, maybe that can give me a job. So I'm trying to figure out what's next, because I don't have the charisma to be a famous person. Like I'm not Dan. I can't hold court and rant like Dan can. I can only hold court and rant like I can, which, we're seeing what we're getting. It's not nothing, but it's no Harmontown, but of course it can't be. It wasn't, the creator of Community. It's just me. It's just a random guy. But that's why it's hard to think of myself as anything other than a random guy, but yeah.
You think that this show would be different if we were doing this in front of a live audience? Like, would you get a different vibe from it? Would you make it a different show at that point?
Yeah, but it's also like, I don't know what I want to make it if it was a live show. We've talked about maybe trying to do live shows, or with Jeff trying to go back to doing live shows. I was pushing to do the show with Jeff, not even live, but just in the same place, so we don't have to fucking Zoom, like it just might be better organic kind of comedy or something, but I don't have any really good ideas. And that's kind of part of what's slowing me down. I don't know. Obviously we could do an interview show, but my gear isn't being comedic in that vein. I've lost a lot of my comedic on stage instincts from being off of Harmontown so long. So it's like, I think it would be better, just that I think I would probably be funnier as a result of getting in reps on stage or something. But also I think we would need a different format or a different idea, or to kind of shift it around, which, Jeff would probably be great at. He's a fucking short form comedian, like we could just play games and stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot more simple, easy comedic stuff we could do with an audience. That would be good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember your question. Well, who cares? The question sucked, Kevin.
My notoriously terrible interviewing skills. Yes.
No, it's good. But yeah, I don't know. The world's fucked, man. The world is really fucked. It's not going to be, well, I'm not ruling out Nazis marching down the streets, ripping people out of their homes. I certainly haven't seen evidence to suggest that we won't get to that point. But by the time we're at that point, we're too far gone. Like, it's way, way too late. But to the extent that that's not happening on the horizon, what we are facing is happening. Just these escalating more frequent terror attacks by white supremacists. That is what the war is going to be for a long time. You don't have to wage a war if you can commit a crime, run away, and then the white supremacist cops don't arrest you, both because they don't give a shit about anything and because they're sympathizers with what you're doing, right? You don't have to wage a war if you can just kill people with impunity. And I think that's just is what's happening. I, in the past, I've said that it seems like it's going this way. There was always been terror attacks, and maybe this is just a bad run of them. Who knows? But it definitely just seems like this is going to keep happening more and more frequently until it's just, it was like 4 shootings in like 3 days, right? I mean, certainly there was 3, and then there was 2 in California. Just craziness. And it's not going away. It's really bad. That's another thing is like, why fucking think about my TV career? I should be thinking about finding a good job in Canada or something, like somewhere to flee to where I could just work at a store. Like that's probably more valuable use of my mental energy than like thinking, about how I can leverage working in TV into maybe getting a rent on it or getting a mortgage on a house or something. I'm fully expecting to have to flee the country. I don't think we're going to stop the Nazis. I think we are going to lose to the Nazis. I would love to be wrong, but I just haven't seen the evidence yet that we're capable of that. It's not good.
I would like to believe that, good always triumphs evil, and that, we get hyperfixated on one bad element of society, ignoring all the other good things that are happening. Like I still feel like despite the obvious bad things that are happening in the news just even recently, we're still moving forward, just not at the pace that we were at one point. I think we're still moving in the right direction. There's just some people who might like us to go in a different direction.
So I think there's a sense to which that's true, but like that timeline, we're making progress. What was the last pin on that timeline, and what's the progress that you're pointing to? Because I think we've been pretty strongly blacksliding for about 5-6 years, and I don't really see, it's not like there's no bright spots, but I think like necessarily we're a lot worse off than we were in like 2000 in terms of equality. The thing is, progress happens. I agree that good triumphs in macro, but in macro could mean 200 years after the Neo Dark Ages end, we have Neo Enlightenment, but you and me will be slaughtered by then, so it's like, I agree that on some level, probably good will prevail, but how the path that takes could be horrifying, but yeah, so I just think that there's just a lot of concrete markers that we're slipping into authoritarianism. I think the Supreme Court shit is crazy. I don't think they would have done that if they thought that they couldn't get away with it, right? It's like they had to understand there's a huge backlash, probably the hugest backlash they've ever invoked in their political history, but they went for it anyway. I think that's a huge signal. I think that people who study the falls of nations and the rise of authoritarianism say that the breakdown of courts, which is what is happening with the Supreme Court, is a huge marker that bad shit is going to happen. And specifically, I think if we can't fix the Supreme Court, which will be really hard without fixing other branches of winning elections in other branches of government. And those elections are heavily gerrymandered, which gerrymanders can be defeated, but they're really hard to defeat. All of these, it's like, so what would we institutionally have to accomplish before we could even fix the Supreme Court? That doesn't seem particularly feasible to me. So it's like, if we can't fix the courts, then the courts are going to keep perpetuating all the bad stuff, no matter what we try to do to fix it. Like, for instance, if we made, Congress just failed to pass a nationwide law enshrining abortion into law. And there's no reason that the Supreme Court wouldn't just strike that down, because they don't care about precedent. They don't care about anything. They care about these partisan agendas. And so it's like, once that barrier is broken, there's no reason for them to go back. And that's the problem this whole time for me, is that they keep crossing lines that once you've crossed them, there's no reason to go back. You're not going to win points by backpedaling there. It's like, no, we're going to keep saying the elections are rigged. We're going to keep rigging the elections. We're going to keep making everything worse because we're not being punished for it. I think, anyway, did you have any thoughts before I launch into yet another rant?
No, I would love to hear your rant. Please continue.
I think that we fucked up the initial sin. Well, there's a lot of initial sins, but the greatest sin of America we didn't execute all the fucking Confederates. What we did is let them back in the halls of power. We shook hands. We're saying, okay, you're a senator again. You could be a senator again. No, you're not. Like, I'm sure we jailed some of the people, but not nearly enough. Mostly we wanted to kiss and make up. And that's not typical. I'm sure that there have been a lot of insurrections that resulted in similar results, but a lot of times all those people are executed because you don't want to leave the insurrectionists around, because those are the people who have demonstrated they're willing to commit an insurrection. Those are the most dangerous people to leave alive, let alone give literal government power to. So it's not that they lost it's not that they lost the Civil War. It's that they were forced to adopt a much subtler strategy to continue the Civil War. And they did. The Lost Cause Confederates, like the erecting of all these Confederate statues, they knew what they were doing. They're saying, we're planting the seeds so that when time passes, people will think of this stuff as normal and not, we lost an insurrection in which we committed terrorism against the nation that we pledged allegiance to, right? That's what happened. And so by laying those seeds, we allowed them to keep their narratives, their victimhood narratives, and their narratives of white supremacy, keep them and keep perpetuating them with a bit more, cover, a bit less openly, but they've been doing it the whole time. It's not like the KKK ever left, like they've still been around. All these forces have been still persecuting the same war. Who hasn't been? Us. We haven't been fighting that same war because we said, no, it's fine now. They're fine. They're okay. But they haven't been okay. They've been warring with us. They've been playing a long game. And this is the face of it. This is now the vanguard of that war. And it all flows of a consequence of letting people believe that it's okay to have that side, letting people believe that it was actually okay to be a Confederate. It was actually okay to be an insurrectionist. It's okay to be a Southerner who espouses Southern pride. That's a normal thing. It's not. You're a loser. You should have been executed. It would be a lot better if you were. And because of that, we have this twin history, the good noble path that good people have been on, and then this dark path of subversion that the forces of darkness, these racists, have been on, and they've been underground, but they're now strong enough to burst forth. And I don't have like a concrete solution for this, but the only solution to that is to declare a decisive, crushing victory, a victory so total that you could never believe you could ever have a chance of doing the same shit again. That's what the point of executing insurrectionists is. It's to prove, no, this is a dead end. If you want to go down this path again, it'll be another dead end. You're done. You can't do this anymore. You will be dead, and we have to deliver, which is an extreme thing I'm saying. And I'm not even recommending that, but I don't imagine this paradigm being corrected until we deliver that crushing, decisive victory that no one could pretend they can weasel their way out of. And at this point, I think that, they're so fanatical on the right that it would take probably a greater victory than most people would be satisfied with. Because again, I think they've seen the ways to weasel back into power, a lot of these insurrectionists are using weird legal. Baked Alaska was an insurrectionist at the 1/6 insurrection, and he was very clearly trying to weasel his way out of consequences for his actions. His lawyers recommended a plea deal on a simple charge. And they recommended that he take the plea deal so he only gets the simple charge and he doesn't get charged with the whole insurrection. They thought if he actually went to trial, he would be in much deeper shit. And so he took the stand. The judge said, "How do you plead?" And he was like, "Well, I'm pleading guilty, but I personally think I'm not guilty." And so the judge is like, "Okay, you're going to trial. You don't get to plead guilty if you don't think you're guilty." And that's the thing. They want to do it. They want to say out loud, or not even out loud, because they say the other side of it out loud, just to a different audience. They want to be able to declare in front of the cameras of the mainstream media, "Oh, I'm a good person. This is a misunderstanding." And then out of the side of their mouth to their Nazi following say, "No, this is just a game. This is all a trick." And we keep letting them do that and get away with it. This was an example of that not working, but that's the whole plan. And we have to destroy that plan. And if these people feel comfortable existing at all outside in public, they're going to keep doing that. They have to be so, Nazism used to be something you could get the shit beaten out of you for. Like skinheads, you could just beat the shit out of a skinhead because they were a skinhead and thus deserve to be beaten up. But at some point, we decided that no, it's actually worse to beat up a skinhead than it is to be a Nazi, and that's where all this problem comes from. It's the internet's killed a lot of stigma. That's been good in a lot of ways. It's been bad in other ways. If you have a weird disease and you find a community that talks about your disease and you feel less alone, that's really good. If you're a gay person that doesn't know who to turn because your parents are upset and they're racist and problematic and bigots, and you find a community online and learn coping mechanisms, that's a good thing. But if you're a Nazi and you're like, oh man, there's other Nazis, like that's a really bad thing. That's a stigma that should have been enforced. And the internet and other things have allowed that stigma, all stigmas, to wane, and it has good and bad effects. It would be nice if we can bring back some sort of stigma against hate and stuff. We try, but then they turn it into fucking cancel culture, which, by the way, there's always been cancel culture to the extent that people have always castigated others for good reasons and for bad. I ranted about social predation and how humans have this inborn need to socially ascend, and that takes place through social competition, social predation. Like, it's just hardwired into our system. But it's just, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. It's bad news, is what I'm saying. We will make progress, but we will make progress as all the problems get worse. And then we'll either solve the problem or they won't. And if we solve the problems, it'll feel like alarmist to be the posture I am. And if we don't solve the problems, it won't matter to say, I told you so, because we'll all be dead. It sucks. It's not good. I used to, before Trump got elected, I would say, I don't think Trump's going to get elected. And if I'm wrong, we'll have way bigger problems than me being wrong about that. Trump will be president. And so I feel like that's my same posture here. It's like, I'd love to be wrong. That would mean we're not in an existential crisis as a planet. But I don't know, especially lately, I just feel like I can feel like the pressure of the universe more. Like, I don't know. I'm not psychic like Jeff, but I feel like I can feel the world's psychic scream in a way that I don't think I could feel before. The closest I could relate it to is when Trump won. In the fallout of that, I felt like a similar kind of psychic, like storm, kind of like it just felt like everyone was emotionally devastated. And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think there's probably some energy from that, and I don't know what it is. My thought is like, brains are electrical impulses, nerves are electrical impulses create electrical fields, they create magnetic fields. It might be possible for similar thoughts or something to generate some sort of electrical magnetical field phenomena that then you might be able to pick up on or something. Who knows? Like, that's kind of how I justify kind of psychic phenomena to the extent that it exists. I don't think most psychic phenomena is real, but I could imagine that if thoughts have energy and you just had some intuitive sense to decode that energy, you might be able to do things that are similar to what people call psychic abilities, right? I haven't witnessed anything I would see as credible psychic abilities. This is real life sci-fi territory. Check out Real Life Sci-Fi now with Erin Pierce. It's she's trying really hard on that show, and she's made it real. I don't want to say like it was bad before, but it seems like she's really making it a lot different. Well, have you watched Real Life Sci-Fi? Do you think that's accurate? Do you like Erin on the show?
Yeah, no, Erin is great on the show. I love what she's added to it. The show's growing and changing, and it's doing really well.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's so good. But anyway, back to me. No, do you want to do food? Do food soda shit?
Absolutely.
Do you have the sound cue?
I do.
Hell yeah. I'm just dancing, I don't know. I guess to the audience, they're just listening to a song. They don't need like me talking over the song, but I did anyway. So Kevin seems to be going getting his beverages. So now I can talk to you guys. We need to talk about Kevin, you guys. This guy, Kevin, he's been super into archery lately. I think he's gonna shoot up a auditorium full of people he dislikes with a bow. Did you know that's what We Need to Talk About Kevin is about?
I did not.
We Need to Talk About Kevin is a movie where a woman has this kid who is gaslight. The kid is like the spawn of evil, and he's gaslighting her because he is a shithead to her and her alone. And then when anyone else is around, he is acting normal, acting perfect, like a perfect baby, and acting loving towards her. So when she's like, when you guys leave, this kid totally changes and is acting like a piece of shit to me. And they're like, no, you're crazy. And then it turns out the kid, he kills people and goes to jail. And that's what the movie is about. I don't know. It didn't, when I hear the term, we need to talk about Kevin, I didn't think that that's like where it was going. It's like a bad seed scenario or something. I don't know.
See, I've never actually watched that movie, which is, I probably should at this point. So yeah.
Well, we need to talk about.
You could tell me that movie is about anything, I would believe you right now.
Yeah. I don't know. So, did you grab any soda?
I did.
What'd you get?
So I grabbed this one here, which is supposed to be, I think, like some kind of like cream and grape. I did not do the research to see what this is based off of. Do you know what this one is?
Definitely that white grape, which I think is a precedented flavor. But yeah, maybe it's like some sort of like tofu dessert or something. This kind of white creamy looking thing looks like it might be kind of like this kind of soft serve that I think it has tofu or something based. And it has a picture of an presumably an idol named Ayaka on the label. So, maybe it's her special brand. Maybe it's like it's a promotional tie-in. You know how we love those.
We do, yeah. So this is from China. I'm just looking up right now to see if I can figure out what this is actually supposed to be.
Nice.
I don't see it in my list though. So we can pretend this is gonna be whatever you want it to be.
It always is. I used to have this really obtuse joke, which was less. I had these jokes that were half jokes and half just saying lies and being serious about them. But one of it was I would tell people that the flavor of the inside of a Three Musketeers bar is whatever your favorite flavor is. It's this fluffed whipped chocolate sort of situation. I think it tastes kind of like a marshmallowy chocolate personally, but that was what I would say. It tastes like whatever your favorite flavor is. And it just happens that everybody's favorite flavor is this whipped chocolate. It's just not funny. Like, it's stupid, but I would say that all the time at any opportunity. And that's what this is, I think. Do you want to, oh God.
Okay. I found this. So this is actually sold both in Japan and China. This is Fanta's Yogurt Rush White Grape.
Yogurt. Okay. Yogurt Rush. Damn, man. I was at the Yogurt Rush.
Okay. So Spencer's tasting it.
Yeah.
You look like you don't mind it.
Well, I kind of like it. The yogurt is rushing. I'd say yogurt's kind of the first flavor that hits you and you get some sweetness off of the grape, but you get this kind of tangy dairy and this kind of cultured bacterial kind of sourness. That's not bad, but it's very strange. Like, it's not Lester's Fixins, right? Would you say
right.
It kind of works better than that, but it is still bizarre.
Right. No, this is very authentic feeling. I mean, this honestly tastes like it has yogurt in it. It's got the tangy crispness of yogurt with a little bit of a grape aftertaste to it.
But the grape, it's like a nice complement. It creates this nice kind of smooth continuum of flavor as it kind of slides from this yogurty head to this kind of grapey tail, if you will. I actually quite enjoy this. I don't know how much I would. Are yours cold? Mine aren't cold. I forgot to fridge these.
Mine is. I threw mine in the fridge a couple hours ago.
So I think it sucks that it's so warm. I think this drink should have been cold. And I'm going to dock it points for not being cold. I don't know why they packaged it that way. They should have packaged it cold. I think they really fucked up. And that's not on me,
Yeah, no, I mean, I find this drinkable. It's a little unusual. I don't know if there are more yogurt flavored drinks in Japan that we haven't experienced yet, but I think it's not bad.
Yeah, I like it. And the more I'm drinking, the more I'm just getting the solid grape. But again, like this kind of yogurty head on it, like it makes it smooth and nice. I don't know. It adds this, not even complexity, but just this kind of nice off ramp of flavor. Yeah, they got to hire me. They should hire me. I was saying that Mountain Dew should hire me as a consultant. I could fucking.
What would your first flavor be?
Mountain Dew Pro Bono. That's what I tweeted about this already. It's a Bono flavored soda. It tastes just like an old man. And there's bits of earring in every bottle.
Delicious.
No, one thing I think they could do is, I think there's a Mountain Dew Pitch Black that they've done. It's a grape flavored soda. We're going to at some point try the Mountain Dew Purple Thunder, which is like another grape kind of flavored soda, Mountain Dew. But Pitch Black was like my fucking jam. It was so good. It was like dark black purple, which means it made your shit green. But it was so good. And then they came out with Pitch Black 2, which was even better. They made Pitch Black 2 way more sour, like a lot more citric acid or something. And it was just so good. And so what I would do is I'd put out a Pitch Black 3 and then a Pitch Black trilogy, which is a collector's box with Pitch Black 1, 2, and 3. Genius.
I would buy it. I would buy it right now.
Yeah. Part of the reason why I would want it to exist is because I want it. That's the only way it'll happen is if I make it happen. But I think it's pretty good. Oh man, they brought out the new Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. You know about this? They have it in stores now.
Yeah, it's not the same as what we tried before.
No, it's less spicy. And at first I didn't think it was any more limey, but at this point I think it has a hint more lime. But it's not lime forward. For instance, Baja Blast has a lot stronger lime hit to it than from this. It's very, very much just like a less spicy Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew like we tried, which is, I don't know. I'm sure that's better. It definitely, I think it was better when I had it, but it's better dog shit, right? Like it's like, yeah, this is definitely 5% better, and that's not good enough at all.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's tried it now that it's in stores that have liked it.
Yeah, it's not solving anything.
No. It's a novelty drink.
Man, this kicks ass. You want to move on to a different one though?
Yeah. So this next one here is Fanta Grape from China. This is supposed to be a strong grape flavor.
And like, this is the purple grape.
Yeah, purple grape. The other one was green grape.
Yeah, but I think the green grapes are more prominent kind of as a grape flavor. And you don't really see that at all out here. But so maybe this will be more like an American style grape since it's purple grape. You want to
it smells like grape Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, it smells kind of like grape juice, which you would never say anything from a grape flavored soda. I wonder if there's real juice in here.
I actually have in front of me an American
grape juice.
Fanta grape, which tastes nothing like grape whatsoever. So I'm going to compare.
Does that have grape juice in it?
No, zero.
Okay, well this one does. This one, it comes after sugar is grape juice, so pretty high concentration, I would say.
Yeah.
But you want to give it the first taste?
Oh, that tastes like Concord grapes almost, like more grape juice than soda. It's sweet, but not too sweet. Mm-hmm. I like it, but this is the same problem we had before. It's not fizzy enough. It's already flat.
Yeah.
Is yours that way?
Well, mine's not cold, which is another strike against it. It should be cold. I don't know why it's not. It's not my fault that it's not cold, and I shouldn't be adjusting my ratings or expectations on the basis that I did anything to make it the way it is. That's just its own fault. But no, what are Concord grapes? I mean, I know, of course, but these fucking idiots on the Schwab and I'm joking. I am going to keep insulting you, and I'm going to keep caveating it. That's my compromise until someone else fucking DMs me. Jesus Christ.
No, it's like, the really dark reddish purpley grapes that are used for like Welch's grape juice and things like that, compared to like the ones that you would more like have as part of fruit salad or something. Yeah, this does. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head. I would imagine if I took a glass, filled it half full with grape soda and half full with grape juice, and then left it out for 2 days so it went flat, it would taste like this. I really like it. I don't know. Like, I'm not a huge grape juice fan, so I don't know if I would prefer this over like a grape soda necessarily, but it is really good for what it is, Yeah. I think I want to finish the yogurt grape, I think, over this one, but I agree. Now I can't do this right now, but I do have a Soda Stream like carbonator machine. I might put this in it just to see if I like it more with more carbonation, or if I'm just the American in me just feels like it's wrong.
Yeah, I have one of those too. Well, I don't. Callie does, but I think I could use it potentially. That's a really smart idea, man. One time I bought Pepsi Blue. Was a soda from my youth that I really enjoyed, And one time, it was well after Pepsi Blue stopped existing, and I bought some on eBay. I bought a 2-liter bottle on eBay for some stupid fucking reason, and it was flat, obviously. So I tried to recarbonate it, but I used dry ice, and that you can carbonate stuff with dry ice, but it's a completely different carbonation, and it sucked. And it still tasted flat. Like, I think soda also kind of loses its flavor or something. You know, it kind of goes stale a little bit too. So it was just a complete abomination. It was a simulacrum of itself. Which, you know, Kevin, a simulacrum is a copy of something that retains none of the like quality or like essence of the original. It's like a photocopy of a photocopy so many times it's just beyond fucked. I always thought a simulacrum was a ice clone because that's what it was in Dungeons and Dragons, and I never thought about the fact that the word could refer to like a real world term and not just like a type of monster. But you know, there you go. Oh, Kevin, what are we gonna do?
Well, we got one more to try.
That's what we'll do, I guess. Another one that I think would be well served if they just made it cold, you know?
So Spencer's looking at, this is a Japanese 7-Up. Now it says on the middle here, mojito, but with the T replaced by a 7, like the 7-Up.
Oh.
But at the bottom it says it's grapefruit flavored. So I don't know if this is mint, if this is grapefruit. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, so a mojito is like is it light rum, or what's the alcohol in a mojito? Tequila?
That's it.
Kevin's going to look this up, it looks like. So I will launch into another thing. Oh, I've been having serious acid reflux. I got to stop drinking soda. I didn't drink soda today because I was anticipating drinking soda on the show. Did you find anything?
Yes, it is white rum, lime juice, mint, and sugar with some soda water thrown in.
Sounds terrible for acid reflux.
It does. I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, that's my new bit. Just say if something's good or bad for acid reflux, you know. But a lot of things are good or bad for acid reflux. So I also think this is part of the psychic storm that's affecting the nation and the world. But I think a lot of people are getting acid reflux like the past couple of weeks, and I don't know what that is. It might be aliens or something, but it's like something's happening. You know, Erin from Real Life Sci-Fi, she's been having acid reflux, so you know it means something. You know,
they should launch into an investigation on the show.
That's a conspiracy. Like there's some sort of ray. There's some sort of. Would they do a conspiracy that's just something one person said? That's not like it's not a big conspiracy theory. It's just like one guy's opinion. Like in LA, sometimes people who seem mentally unstable, they write reams and reams of paragraphs and words on their cars. Like there's this one that was like, oh, this guy, he killed all my pigeons. He killed 79 pigeons. This man, he's in the city council and he killed 79 pigeons. And it's like, I don't know. But, you know, maybe those guys. I lost my train of thought again.
No, I used to have this guy who was convinced that the TV show Stargate was real and would give me these, like, he would write these handwritten documents out of all of his evidence for why Stargate was a real thing, and the TV show was just there to throw people off of it. You know, so that if you said, "Oh yeah, it's real," they're like, "No, you watch the TV show. You're obviously crazy." So he wanted all the, so he wrote probably hundreds of pages, and he would drop them off at my door to tell me all about Stargate. I used to run a website that, for some reason, he thought was going to talk about this.
Yeah, he just thought you were his bridge to.
Yes, get the word out.
Yeah, that's schizophrenia for you. You know what might have been an even better cover is to not make the show Stargate. Then no one would even be all like Stargate. People would be like, that's just a crazy thing. I can't connect to anything. You know? Well, and also maybe he wouldn't have got the idea.
Yeah, they actually had an episode of the show Stargate where they made a fake TV show to throw people off the story because it started leaking out. And he was just absolutely convinced he was on the right line then, because everything he's been saying, they made a TV episode about to make fun of him.
Yeah, it's funny because you got to imagine. I mean, I don't know. Timeline wise, is it like he came up with that first and then the episode dropped? Because almost certainly he would have watched that episode and went, "That's real," and this is the proof is that episode. And now I have this theory, right? That's the normal way this stuff would flow. But do you know chronologically if that made sense?
I mean, I know he started his theories in between the movie and the series. So, but I don't know if the movie's what gave him the idea, because he had evidence going back decades about
but it's like what seeded the idea. But it sounds like but if he had the idea first and then if that were to happen, then he would really be like, this is the fucking this is what I meant. It would really prove your thesis. I think
I agree. Yeah, I
should
wish
get him on Real Life Sci-Fi. Well, I wish all conspiracy, it's so much more interesting. Like, that's the thing, man. That's why I think psychic stuff is cool and aliens and ghosts are cool. It's because it's like so much more interesting to think that those might be real, It's just, that's also probably why it's not true, is because it would be too neat. It would be too good. We don't deserve good stuff like that. Like
that would be a good TV show where just basically like, every conspiracy theory is real. All of them. Yeah. And like what that reality would look like.
Inside Job is kind of like that, but I think it might have got canceled. But yeah, it's Inside Job is like a scientist who works for the deep state, and basically all conspiracies are real, and they're the people charged with keeping it under wraps, and they have to, appease the lizard people, and the robot president is, a replacement president, and all that stuff. But I think you could lean even farther into that idea for sure. But I don't know.
Wow, I had no idea I made a TV show. Awesome.
Yeah, man. And I hear that they came up with it to steal your idea. No, I don't know how to make that.
They're trying to throw me off my own trail.
Yeah. Half baked execution on that. You want to crack into this one?
Yeah. All right. Here, I got it open.
All right.
Now it smells like Squirt, kind of.
Yeah, which is a grapefruit soda, so that makes sense.
I don't smell any mint. I don't smell anything else. It just smells like Squirt right now. So let me give it a taste.
Yeah. Kevin is tasting. He's got a plant in the background.
Okay, it's a little flat. There's a lot of mint about 5 seconds after you swallow.
Yeah, no, that sucks.
It starts off tasting like Squirt, and then suddenly it's toothpaste.
Yeah, I was wanting it to just stay Squirt, and it's like, no, you have to be mint now. It's not bad. I think it would be better with the carbonation, just because Squirt's this really intense flavor, and then the carbonation is part of what like contributes to that bite, that Squirt has. But you hear grapefruit and mint. It's not that bad, but it's not great. I don't know.
I don't know. This is one of my least favorites we've tried, I think, because this is just not. That's just such a slap in the face of like, oh, I'm enjoying this, and then suddenly, no, you're done now. Brush your teeth.
I'm definitely a bit more positive than you, but I agree with that for sure. It's just very strange. It turns out that if you put sugar in something and then some artificial flavors, it's going to be at least kind of okay a little bit, because it's sugar at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, this is addictive. It's dangerous stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of sugar, we do have one more thing to try.
Hell yeah. I'm training Kevin up so I can quit the show.
What was it that drew you to this one to try?
It's called Tang Fastix, which is like a fantastic pun, right? But it's just Fangtastic is just, I don't know. I was thinking about fangs. Oh no, Tang Fastix. I can't even say it right. I was just like Fastix, Tang. Fang, Tang, it's a weird word, and it really caught me at my eye. And I looked at it, it's very different gummies. There's like, it looks like these classic kind of soda bottle gummies, which are often soda shaped. There's these half white gummy and a half kind of fruit gummy that like is often the frogs. They have those kind of gummy frogs that come like that, or sometimes the gummy sharks are like that with the white. Then they have kind of just fruits, just general fruits. So it's like, why would they have all these different things in the same bag? Are they all these flavors that it seems like they will be, or are they like some sort of normalized generic flavor that's just all the same? That's kind of why.
I'm looking at the ingredients. So they described this bag as being fizzy fruit flavor, cola flavor, and sweet foam gummies. But it actually
Sweet
has
foam.
flavors like elderberry and hibiscus and kiwi and lemon, mango, passion fruit, safflower. So there's a lot.
Spirulina.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavors in here.
You know about spirulina?
Isn't that
Algae.
like an algae? Yeah, it's a sea-based algae.
Yeah, it's a sea-based algae that was like new age kind of diet stuff in like the 80s, I want to say. I mean, I think it's fine, but it's more of a fad thing. What'd you think?
So
What'd you grab, actually?
I grabbed one of the cola bottles,
Okay.
and it tastes like a cola bottle gummy with some sugar on the outside.
Elderberry.
What are you going for?
I'm going to grab this kind of crocodile kind of one. It's like a pink-red crocodile. I should not eat into the mic. Oh, man. It's like just a really good cherry. That's great.
All right,
That's
I'm
a really
this
good
too.
one.
Yeah, this is surprisingly good. I was not expecting these to be as good as they are.
Yeah, no, these kick ass. And they look like they're in English. They don't even have any non-English words. So you think these are British or Australian or something? Elderberry is like not a typical American flavor. Blackcurrant, that's definitely a British flavor. So maybe these are British?
Yeah, these are made in England. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
By the
it's
way,
going to be crazy.
Yeah, all of
Go
these
ahead.
came from the Exotic Soda Company. You can check them out at exoticsodaco.com. They didn't pay us for any of this. They just sent us a bunch of stuff, but they did give a coupon code to anybody who's listening. If you want to try any of these things yourself, go to exoticsodaco.com and use promo code That Happens, and you get 15% off your whole order.
Hey there, man, I'm so exotic. My name is so exotic. I'm the soda king, and I raise soda. I take it away from the soda's mom at way too much young, and the soda's mom kills herself because of the torture of losing a child, and then I raise the child until they get to that dangerous soda age where they have to be cold. But up until that point, you know, it's great for petting zoos and making money, and I go to Walmart to feed the soda. Use the promo code. That happens. What was it? Right? I usually just say Goblin Flakes because it's usually not a real promo code. I'm so exotic. So, exotic from the Exotic Soda Company. Is that
was
good?
good.
Is that good, Kevin?
That was really that's so soda. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say? We don't deserve ghosts. I think we kind of talked around that, but I just wanted to say that just so we could maybe use that as an episode title, depending on what the episode titles turn out to be. Because mostly I was just ranting about the end of the world. I don't know how good that is. But, you know, we don't deserve ghosts. Tangfastics is another good title. What is this rope? Did you get one of these, like, lassos? Like a gummy lasso?
I thought it was a key, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's a key.
Or a noose.
Or a bell? Or a tie? Maybe a bell.
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
It's kind of peach flavor. Not bad.
Oh, it's supposed to be a pacifier, I think.
Weird
Maybe?
fucking pacifier.
I don't know. It's a weird shape. For it.
Yeah, maybe it's like a stylized pacifier. They take out that kind of
Yeah.
the lip guard. I don't know. You know, the actual kind of plate.
Yep.
That yeah, it doesn't have that, but I could see it being stylized.
So what was your favorite snack or drink for tonight?
It's the yogurt. Well, I mean, the candy's better than the yogurt, but I kind of like the discovery of the yogurt. I think is fine. Where this is like sometimes you have good candy and it's like, hey, that was great. So like I like the candy more, but I think I'm more delighted by the yogurt grape.
I think so too, because I saw that and I was definitely expecting I was not going to enjoy it. And I was very surprised that I did. Whereas like the 7-Up, I was pretty excited. I was saving that one for the last because I thought I was going to like that the best. And it just tasted like orange juice and brushing your teeth together.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like grapefruit mojitos in Japan or something. If that's like maybe a more typical, because obviously a lime's not too far removed from grapefruit. So
Right.
you know, it could just be a different palates thing. But yeah, I don't know. Bad show, man. We did a bad show. I think I've got a lot of important information out there, so maybe I'll get arrested as a result. That could be good. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks so much for all the haters. The haters, you're my motivators. And you don't just leave me in a fetal position on the ground. way more often than you might expect. Oh no. What's this? Oh, it's the Sonic Marble Hill Zone. I love that level in Sonic. Man, what a great thing to happen at the end of the show. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no, is the show ending? Oh no. I think we're running out of time. Oh god, my childhood. And now I'm dead. And that's our show, everybody. Thanks so much for coming to That Happens. Oh boy. Check out That Happens. It's a podcast. It's on a little network we call Schraub Home Video. And speaking of which, Rob Schraub is calling me, probably to chew me out for being so mean to the Schraub Home Video Discord. You fucking babies, you snitches, you backstabbers. And again, I'm joking, Jesus Christ. Even when I was insulting you guys seriously, it was a joke. I was trying to be funny and, confrontational for the purpose of humor. Jesus Christ, you guys. It's not your fault. It's my fault. I'm sorry. What about you, Kevin? What do you have to plug? I just have to plug being sad and apologetic.
Coming up next on Schraub Home Video, we've got the best Channel 101, followed by Real Life Sci-Fi, and then a brand new Cyberpunk Metazone tonight from Rob Schraub.
Hell yeah. Check that after the jump. What's directly coming? Is it like a series of videos? The best of Channel 101, right?
Right. Yeah. So every week, Aaron makes up a half-hour block of some of the best of Channel 101 sketches that we show on SchraubHomeVideo.com every Sunday night.
Stay tuned for Best of Channel 101 coming up next on Fox. That's all. That's the end.